define first nuclear power plant. A nuclear power plant, or NPP, is a thermal power station in which the heat source is one or more nuclear reactor. As in a conventional thermal power station, the heat is used to generate steam, which drives a steam turbine connected to a generator which produces electricity. Now let's go to history of nuclear power plant. 1919, Ernest Rutherford is credited with splitting the atom. In 1934, Enrico Fermi achieves nuclear fission. In 1942, Enrico Fermi builds Chicago Pile 1, the first nuclear reactor. In 1945, Hiroshima and Nagasaki are nuked, scarring public opinion of nuclear technology. In 1951, EBR-1 becomes the first nuclear reactor to generate electricity. In 1954, the USSR's Obninsk nuclear power plant becomes the first to generate electricity for a power grid. In 1957, Yankee Row 1 becomes the first commercial nuclear power plant. In 1965, the first nuclear reactor is operated in space. In 1979, half of 3 Mile Island's core melts down. In 1986, the first and only catastrophic nuclear power accident happened in Chernobyl, USSR, now Ukraine. Now let's watch a short video clip about nuclear power plant.
This huge building you see behind me is one of Ontario Power Generation's nuclear power generating stations. In essence, it's a factory that converts the energy of the atom into a flow of electrons, or what's commonly called electricity, the electricity that helps power the province. Nuclear, hydroelectric, and fossil fuel generating stations have many similarities in the way they generate electricity. Where they differ is their fuel source. OPG's nuclear stations use naturally occurring uranium that's processed into little ceramic pellets like this. An unused fuel pellet emits very little radiation. However, it holds the potential to produce a whole lot of energy. Just 8 of these pellets will power an average house for almost 1 year. The fuel pellets are sealed into metal tubes, which are then welded together to form a fuel bundle. Several thousand fuel bundles are then inserted into a large tank called a calandria, which is the heart of the nuclear reactor. Nuclear generating stations split the uranium atoms in the fuel in a process called fission, and the result is the release of a tremendous amount of heat. To unlock the heat energy in the uranium atoms, you need what's called a moderator. In CANDU reactors, a special kind of water called heavy water is used as the moderator. Heavy water is 10% heavier than ordinary water because it contains a higher than normal proportion of deuterium, which is a form of hydrogen. The heavy water surrounds the fuel bundles and slows down tiny particles called neutrons, so they are more likely to hit and split the uranium atoms. A chain reaction of atoms splitting ensures there is a constant source of heat to heat the heavy water. The heated heavy water is pumped through the reactor in a closed system to a set of boilers, where it boils ordinary water into high-pressure steam. The heavy water, having done its job, is recirculated back to the reactor to pick up more heat and cool the fuel. The high-pressure steam, made from ordinary water, is transported through pipes to a large turbine, where it pushes the blades and turns the shaft connected to a rotor in the generator, causing the rotor to spin. The spinning rotor is a large electromagnet that produces a rotating magnetic field. This field moves across coils of copper wire in the generator stator, producing electricity that can be sent across transmission lines. The steam coming out of the turbine is condensed back into water using cooling water from the lake and pumped back to the boilers to continue the process. Ontario Power Generation's nuclear generating stations have sophisticated safety systems to control, cool, and contain the process each step of the way, generating electricity safely and virtually free of all smog and greenhouse gas emissions.
Nuclear waste and its disposal are the greatest concerns regarding nuclear power plants. Currently, waste is disposed of in deep underground geological repository with protective barriers. Nuclear wastes are harmful and even fatal to infected living things. This earless rabbit is an effect of the increased level of radiation in Japan. "25 years ago, the worst nuclear disaster devastated the country of Ukraine. The Chernobyl disaster is one of only two classified as a Level 7 event, the other being the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster. Many of those who are exposed to dangerous dose of radiation are diagnosed with thyroid cancer, leukemia, and other health complications. From 1986 to 2000, 250,400 people were evacuated and resettled from the most severely contaminated areas of Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine. Uranium-235, the fuel used for nuclear reactors, is a scarce resource. Its supply is estimated to last only for the next 30 to 60 years. And most importantly,
Oh yeah!